Good day, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I am in very good contact with my spirit guides.
Very good contact.
Yes.
Oh, all right. Invite each over for tea now and then.
We hang out. It's great. And much of what you've imparted to us today has come to me in different ways along the way.
Yes.
And
all of this is available to all of you.
And there's one, thank you, yes. And there's one question that is challenging me, and I'm hoping that you can clear it up.
What is your exciting challenge?
Oh, my exciting challenge is that I am unclear about how child abuse or abuse of, let's say, war in a country where innocent people in their home just going about their business are suddenly traumatized.
Yes.
And I would love to understand your perception of that.
I will give you 2 out of many reasons why such things can occur on your planet. All right?
Thank you.
Number 1. An individual, as a spirit, may choose to come into a situation where they know something like that may occur, so that they know also that the occurrence will allow itself to act as an example to others in that reality, so they can look at what their reality is like and decide to make sure that that never happens again.
Yes.
So that being will have, in that sense, endured that in order to function as a living example that can change reality and change people's ideas about how they wish their world to be. Secondly, when you are born into physical reality on your planet, because of the nature of the way consciousness has compartmentalized itself, many individuals will receive or get downloaded by their parents telepathically with their parents' fears, doubts, and so on and so forth, and the negative belief systems. When these are imprinted into the child and the child grows up without necessarily knowing that they are carrying these imprints, they may thus unknowingly attract themselves into situations that are representative of the negative fears that they are unaware of. And the negative situations that happen thus bring to their attention that they may have belief systems that would make it more likely for them to attract themselves into such situations than anything else. And that can act as an example for them to get in touch with that, so they can also change that situation for themselves.
Yes, I see that.
All right. These are 2 ideas of why such things happen. It is not in that sense a justification, but these things can still be used in a positive way to allow things to be different. If you use them that way, then they will have served a positive purpose. If you allow as a species this to simply continue on, then in that sense you will simply be caught up in your own cycle of self-perpetuation. But remember that regardless how difficult, drastic, abusive, heinous, negative many of these things may seem, and again, this is not a justification, it is not an excusing of the perpetrators, because it is up to each and every being to get in touch with their own source of power and understand that they do not need to do those kinds of things in order to express the power that they wish to express. The idea of the lesson here is to understand that these things only really happen on your planet because there is such a strong investment in disempowerment. And the idea is that people on your planet are not taught to believe that they are empowered. They are taught to believe they are disempowered. And when a person is taught to believe they are disempowered, they will rebel against it. And they will take as many people with them down their spiral as they can. Because they don't want to be alone. So it may actually be a distorted expression of love. Because if that's the only way they have been taught to express the idea of connection negatively, then they will express with the only tool they have at hand, destructiveness.
Yes.
You follow me?
I do.
So these are all opportunities for individuals to get a handle on the true core reasons why these things happen and allow the change to occur instead of going into victimization that again has to do with blame, complaint, and justification.
Yes.
Does this help you?
It surely does.
And one more thing, remember, and again, not a justification in that sense, not an excuse. From the spirit level, these things are extremely temporary. Have you ever had what you call a bad dream and then woken up and gone, oh, that was just a dream?
Yes.
All right. When you die and go into spirit, that's exactly what you do. Oh, physical reality, just a bad dream for a moment. It's not really who I am. You follow me?
Yes.
So there's that perspective too. And so from the spirit perspective, sometimes beings will understand that even though they know they may be becoming physical in a world that is somewhat chaotic and expresses itself somewhat abusively, they still know it is not really in any way, shape, or form permanent, and from their perspective, not really real. And they know, even though the idea of the physical mind and the higher self may experience the difficulty, it is still something that the soul can use in a positive way. And the idea is, again, to act as an example to the world, to bring it in front of everyone's face, that if such things are the way of the world and you don't prefer them to be that way, then do something constructive about it. And that way things will change.
Beautiful.
Now, remember also that you're, as a world, pretty much near the end of the cycle of all the negativity. And so, in a sense, there isn't that much time left in which to experience the idea of negative reality. And so, what you're doing now is getting it all up out of your system very rapidly. Bringing it all out onto the table so you can decide what you do and don't prefer your world to be. Make sense?
Yes.
So the more actively involved you people become in the idea of helping to teach empowerment to people who have been taught disempowerment, the greater, faster, and more profound the healing will be. All right?
Yes, and I have another part of the question.
Oh, all right.
I feel like I vacillate between definitely being in touch with my higher self and then some of my domestications, which want me to have a reaction to the abuser.
Yes.
And so I would love to have clarification from you on though I could probably say it's best to send love and to be loving, there's a part of me that fears that if I don't sort of scold or something, that's not the right word, but have some sort of reaction to the abuser, that the abuse will continue. I just answered myself, but
yes,
you
instead of a
too.
reaction, have a response. And allow the energy to be this if you're going to interact. That you understand that they are abusers because they have been abused. And they are only continuing a chain of events. The idea is to allow them to understand, if they wish to, that there is a way for them to feel empowered instead of disempowered. And that will help not only them, but everyone. Does this make sense?
It does. And
the idea of reacting in the negative way. For the initial 15 seconds, your angry reaction is a natural reaction, a natural response that gives you an energetic alignment so that you understand vibrationally that you are a vibration that is different than that vibration. It aligns you to where you stand.
yes.
But beyond that 15 seconds, it then dissolves into judgment.
Right.
And if it dissolves into judgment, what you're actually doing is judging portions of yourself.
And then matching the vibration in
Yes.
yourself to the...
And that's what the phrase means, judge not lest ye be judged.
Yes.
It doesn't mean you're being judged from outside. It means that as you judge, you take yourself to that level.
Yes.
And that's not going to help anyone heal. It's only going to perpetuate more judgment, more abuse. Understand in that sense that it takes a victim to make a victim. You understand?
Yes, I do.
So when you don't look at them as victims, because that's how they look at themselves,
Yes.
and you see them as empowered beings that have the ability to find their power and change, that energy is at least an offering to them of the best opportunity to give them a chance to change, not that they have to. You follow me?
Yes.
And we understand that on your planet, because of the nature of some of those acts, that you have your ways of dealing with these things. But that's only, and ever only will be, a temporary measure. And it will not break the cycle until you actually teach people how to regain their self-empowerment.
Yes.
So, there are a variety of creative and imaginative ways that people are doing that on your planet. You can come up with your own way as well, or a variation on a way that is being done, and you can start at the child level, the intermediate level, the adult level, or all of the above. It's up to you as to what motivates you, what moves you, what empowers you to empower them, if they choose empowerment. But you can make it clear as possible, that that's the choice to make, and that the only reason that they feel the way they do is because they have been taught disempowerment, and that what they are doing that they think is representative of power is actually representative of disempowerment. And you can teach in whatever way works for you that the greatest power requires the lightest touch. Here's an example. You are familiar on your planet with the idea of building blocks, yes?
Yes.
All right. You can take building blocks and build a tower. And then you can take another pile of blocks and just scatter them on the ground. And then ask a person, what is easier, to build a new tower or to knock that one down? They will usually say, well, knocking that one down is easy. Yes. Why is it easy? Because destruction takes no power.
Wow.
It takes power to create.
Yes.
And in those kinds of imaginative examples, you can start to teach people the difference. You follow me?
Yes.
Thank you.
Do you mind if I ask you one more question?
Do I mind? No.
Do you spirit if I ask you one more question?
Go ahead.
We live in a paradigm where pity and sensitivity and compassion are necessary. I don't know, is pity necessary? Compassion is necessary. So when dealing with victims or
Yes.
people who have had abuse,
Yes.
it is expected that we react in a certain way.
Respond with compassion.
Yes.
Do not support the negativity with the idea of pity or sympathy. But empathy and compassion are empowering.
Thank
Pity
you.
and sympathy are disempowering.
Yes,
You
okay.
see the difference
yes, I do, I
vibrationally?
do. I have at times reacted. I'm a very compassionate person. I don't think I could not be compassionate.
All right.
And sometimes my reaction to people's pain, because I react in a different way than what's the general paradigm,
Yes.
has been considered
Cold.
Yes, not cold, but offensive, because
all right.
I like to use humor a lot.
All right.
And so
It is all right to exhibit compassion by also just sitting with someone. You don't have to take them out of their feeling. That's not necessarily compassion, because the acknowledgement of the feeling is the first step in changing it. You can't change what you don't own. So the idea is not to cajole them out of what they're feeling, but to truly be with them in what they're feeling in a way that can then gently guide them in another way, in an appropriate manner. If you rush to use humor to pull them out of the doldrum, you yourself may actually be scared of feeling what they're feeling and not wanting that in your reality, which means you're actually disempowering yourself instead of being able to know you're strong enough to be able to hold them in your energy arms while they go through what they go through and gently coax them back into their empowerment when it's appropriate.
Perfect.
You follow?
I do.
Does that help?
Perfectly. Thank you.
Good day, Bashar.
And who you good day.
My question today is on neutrality.
Neutrality.
Yes. You have mentioned that there is no right or wrong, nor good or bad, but instead negative and positive.
That which integrates, that which segregates.
Yes, which also can be stated as lower and higher vibrations, negative being lower and positive being higher.
In a sense, yes, because it is integrative, thus exponential in that sense, whereas segregational is compartmentalization, which in that sense causes detachment and disconnection.
Yes, thank you. What I see neutrality as is a tool that allows absolute choice to choose what you prefer at all moments.
Yes, and thus you can understand, as we have said, that the universe is actually slightly oriented to the positive.
Yes,
Because neutrality allows you to choose, which is a positive state of being. So in that sense, technically speaking, just to use some arbitrary numbers, the universe is actually 51% positive and 49% negative. Because the middle point, the neutral point, is not actually totally, absolutely neutral. Neutral in and of itself, by definition, affords you a choice, and that's positive.
Thank you. Well, my question is neutrality used to aid one to enlightenment, and is it in the aiding? I
just told you it was.
Well, I mean, is it in the aiding from third to fourth, and when one completely understands neutrality and is in a neutral state, does one ascend?
Depends on what you mean by ascend. It always uplifts your frequency, but if you're not done with your physical theme, you will not become non-physical, if that's what you mean, until you're done.
Well, does your society and beings on higher densities, do they still use neutrality?
Always. That is primarily what is used.
But are you only in bliss and there's no moments for you to use neutrality because there's no negativity for you to see?
In a sense, you might put it this way. Neutrality is the lowest state we ever go into.
So exactly. So for us to master it, then we will ascend.
Yes. Which simply means you will shift upward to whatever degree is appropriate for you at that particular moment.
Okay. You have mentioned to me before that there's a certain way of experiencing it, which was in a neutral bubble as an observer.
Yes.
How many different levels of neutrality are there?
There is only one.
Okay. So in that bubble, as seen an observer, seen from that view, is that one level?
If you are asking if neutrality can be experienced from different levels, the answer is yes. But neutrality itself does not, in a sense, exist in different levels. It is a level, in a sense, or a place, in a sense, or a vibration, in a sense, that any level can tap into.
Okay. And one question you didn't answer earlier, which was I wrote this down a couple of days ago, which was the test factor.
Yes.
When you make a change, you instantly start to test yourself. And does that go with every single change?
It depends. No. If you understand there is no need to do that anymore, you will not do that anymore.
Okay, but it works more and more on belief systems.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
It's just that, generally speaking, on your planet, your consciousnesses have been so fragmented and so compartmentalized that you have so many different belief systems to bring up that the self-testing may go on for a little while until you finally are willing to let go of needing that.
Well,
then you won't experience it that way.
Does the self-testing go on if you keep on reacting until you respond to the test, then you will pass it, correct?
Generally, yes.
Okay. And
Unless there is another underlying belief system that says the test will continue even if I respond.
Okay. And one last question.
Yes.
What is the highest vibrational music in our world today?
The highest vibration of a particular individual, you mean?
No.
Physically?
Vibrational music. Music with the highest vibration for uplifting purposes. Well, death metal can be a very low vibration, classical very high, but what's the highest?
I assume you mean physicalized music.
Yes.
One moment. It will, of course, within a certain range, depend upon the vibration of the person hearing it. We understand that there is a general truth to what you are saying about certain forms of music having higher or lower vibrational effects. But in terms of a high vibration, from our point of view, what you heard a while ago is one of the highest.
The instrument that was played earlier?
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hey, Bashar. Hello.
And to you, good day.
Thank you. So, you mentioned earlier about...
Speak up and be bold so that all may hear what you have to share.
You mentioned earlier about opposite ends of the spectrum, the reds and the violets.
Yes.
I've been experiencing in my dreams and in waking, I just see reds and violets
All right.
popping up everywhere.
All right.
But just those two, the two opposite
That's
ends.
all right. In that sense, you are simply giving yourself representations of the polar opposite vibrations, in that sense bouncing back and forth between them so that you can achieve what we were actually just talking about with the last individual, a sense of balance in between and a state of neutrality that encompasses the entire spectrum.
Okay, cool. And
It's whatever temperature you want it to be.
And in my dreams, whether I accept that I'm dreaming or not, whenever I ask somebody if I'm dreaming, they'll deny it. They deny it. And when I'm awake and I ask someone that if I'm dreaming, they'll say yes.
All right.
Why, when I'm asleep, do they deny it, and when I'm awake?
Again, you are dealing with the concept of polarities and allowing yourself to find a place in the middle. You see, this is another example of what we have termed the watermelon seed paradox. If you have a watermelon seed and you squeeze it between your thumb and forefinger, hard as you can, it cannot go up, it cannot go down. You are faced with a conundrum you cannot answer, and yet you must answer. When you squeeze hard enough, the seed will shoot out in a new direction, neither up or down, but open a new doorway to a new way of seeing. So what you are doing is you're giving yourself paradox and conundrum that you feel you cannot answer, but you feel you must answer, and that will squeeze you in a new perspective, in a new direction. That's what you're doing.
Yes,
These are the games you're playing with yourself energetically to point you in a new direction.
That's great. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
That's it.
Let us now all get into a state of relaxation. Close your eyes, take a deep breath in, and let it out. One more time, take a deep breath in, and let it out. And one more time, take a deep breath in. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. And hold it. And let it out. All right. Now, just allow yourself to relax. Be comfortable. Imagine, if you will, a snowflake. Hexagonal snowflake of intricate latticework, crystalline pattern, frosty and glistening against blackness. It is made of water, crystallized, patterned water. Allow yourself to become very, very small so that you go into the snowflake, into its crystalline structure, in such a manner that you now actually can begin to see the atomic latticework, the individual atoms arranged in a perfect crystalline pattern. And you go deeper in, until you can see the subatomic vibrational wave particle patterns vibrating, spinning in place, each one vibrating, spinning in place, dancing slowly around all the other subatomic particles, vibrating, spinning in place. And just allow yourself to be one of the particles in the center, surrounded by all of these other little packets of light, packets of vibrating, spinning energy, humming, spinning, dancing, staying exactly equidistant from each other in a perfect crystalline lattice pattern, slowly rotating around you, and you feeling the harmonies and harmonics of all the vibrations. Water spinning, water imparting energy, communication, vibration from one particle to another, from one wave to another. Waves and waves of communication, interlacing, interacting, interconnecting. All of the particles, including you, the particle at the center, vibrating, feeling the hum in your heart, in your solar plexus, in your head, the deep, deep vibration. Floating with the particles, slowly dancing, rotating. Water is the buffer between dimensions, the translator, the spinning particles taking the energy of one dimension and either slowing it down for the absorption and integration in a lower dimension, or taking it from a lower dimension and speeding it up for the absorption and integration of a higher dimension. Water is the go-between. Water is the communicator. Water is the translator. Water is the transformer. If your body is dehydrated, you cannot transform. The energy from one dimension to another, passing through a dehydrated body, will burn you out. Hydration is key. Hydration will soften and buffer all transformative energies that are vibrationally aligned with the harmonic resonance of your perfect phi ratio form. Water, cool, liquid, soothing, absorbing, floating. Water. Each little water molecule, vibrating and spinning, transitions energy from one realm to another, up and down, in and out, in many directions at once. Allow yourself to feel immersed in a sea of these spinning molecules, spinning particles. Immersed. So that you and your body take on their quality, their vibrational spinning quality. So that any transition and any transformation may pass easily through you, unimpeded. And allow you to experience the ease of transition, the smoothness of transformation. breath and water, breath and water. Drink deep of this spiritual energy water in its pure, crystalline, glistening form. And understand that what you are witnessing in this pattern is the unconditionally loving support of all that is, infusing you with its very essence. Water is the key to unlocking the mystery of your own being. It is the secret source that allows you to be fluid. Your life, your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs. Fluid, ever-changing, but always expanding in the direction of your highest self. For the good of all of your being, with perfect positive intention and action in harmony. Take a deep breath in and let it out. With every single breath, allow yourself to remember circumstances don't matter. Only my state of being matters. What state of being do I prefer to be? Allow yourself in your own way, with your own voice, whenever and wherever you wish in life, to repeat this mantra and to truly listen and remember that when your physical body says circumstances don't matter, only my state of being matters, that it is a direct communication with and from and to your higher self, so that you may function as a whole being. Take a deep breath in and let it out. Stay calm and relaxed and listen. Just listen to your true nature, your glorious, childlike, playful, free, expansive, loving, creative, harmonious, compassionate nature. That is who and what you are in truth. That is your natural state of being. Why not be who you are? Why not? Why not? Why not? Do not forget to play. Do not forget to act out. Do not forget to treat yourselves to the ways in which you express creativity, to the ways in which you express your passion. Ride the leading edge, the crest of the wave of the transformation of your collective consciousness. Ride the wave of yourself into the future you prefer by being in the now. Take a deep breath and allow yourself to lock in and settle into the recognition, realization, and reality that you are this being, this whole being. You know what you are doing when you act holistically. Trust yourself. And do not leave yourself behind. But if you do, and have reasons for doing so, use those reasons. Dive into them. For any time you use a reason for staying behind to maximum positive effect, you will convert that reason into energy that will propel you forward through the wake and bring you closer to the leading edge. Your beliefs are your fuel. Convert them to energy. Do not let them weigh you down. Convert them to energy, and you will float to the surface and ride the crest of the wave. Remember that the true secret is that there is no secret other than just being you. That's all it takes, and it is that simple. Allow it to be as simple as it was created to be, for now is the time. Take a deep breath. Allow yourselves now to float up out of the crystalline matrix and allow the small snowflake to exist within you as you expand. It is now a part of you, and you recognize that this is what you are actually made of physically. Billions upon billions of little crystalline flakes of energy that glisten and scintillate within you and carry through you the energy of your being. You are the master crystal of your life. You contain the information and the energy required. All the information and energy required to be who you are. You are a complete kit. You need nothing but what is already within you to be who you are. So be it. Take a deep breath. And gently remind yourself out loud, circumstances don't matter. Only my state of being matters. What state of being do I prefer to be? From our perspective, you are all glisteningly beautiful. Please, for the sake of yourself, physical mind and higher self both, please show yourself the compassion that you deserve. See yourself as glisteningly beautiful as we see you, because we know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you are aspects of infinity. Live here and now. Your home doesn't exist anywhere else. There is nowhere else for it to be. Only here, only now. End of one story and the beginning of another. In this moment, you now pass through a vibrational filter from one dimension to another. You step up, you upgrade. Welcome to a new level. Please watch your step. We will, at this time, allow you to feel the wind in your sails as it gently pushes you through the cosmos of your consciousness. Sail with us on the ecstasy. Together, we will find and discover new shores. Our unconditional love to you all.
All of you, our deep appreciation at being allowed to communicate through this link in this way at this time. Each and every time you allow us to communicate to your civilization this way, it affords us an opportunity to see through you that many more ways that the infinite has of expressing itself in creation. So we thank you for this gift, and we would like to touch upon a quick idea regarding the infinite this day of your time. We would like to entitle this short idea, The Bones of God. Allow us to address the concept that in what you call nature, there are obviously certain principles that you observe, and that can be rendered, shall we say, down in their most basic form to mathematical equations, mathematical proportions, ratios, and relationships of one or many things to another one or many things. All of these things you may call laws of creation, laws of nature, forces of nature, and so forth, are, when viewed on a very basic level, simply really nothing more than relationships of one thing to another, or one group of things to another group of things, or any combination you wish to label it as being in that same manner. This relationship, this mathematical, proportional relationship, is a description of the template, so to speak, that underlies all that you understand physiological reality to be. It's a kind of web, a kind of tapestry made out of conceptual thread that, when interacting with itself, forms a geometric pattern and a variety of geometric shapes, concepts, and experiences. This template can, in some senses, be called the bones of God, since it is the underlying structure, this geometric pattern, this concept, this idea relationship, is the underlying concept upon which all physical experiences hang, in which all physiological experiences occur. It is the setting, it is the stage, it is the very fabric out of which any experience in physical reality is made, is built upon. It is substance and form. It is shadow and light. It is everything you perceive the physical universe to be. When you get a handle, as you say, when you can focus down into that level, this template level, the skeletal level of physical existence, you can then utilize this perception of this template, this primary fundamental framework, as a key to unlock the idea of what physical reality is capable of being, of what you are capable of experiencing. This key has gone by many names in your society, in your history. It is called the Philosopher's Stone. It is called the Merkaba. It is called the Tree of Life. It is called the Kabbalah. It is called many things, but it is all the same idea. In many of what you call now upon your planet, the appearance of the crop circles, the appearance of different kinds of geometric formations in the fields of grain that grow upon your planet, you are seeing one example of shadows, of slices of this template, this underlying template, the bones of God, if you will, the bones of creation. And when you can learn to really vibrate in accordance to the frequency of this inner template, to match its vibrational frequency, then you can really utilize this energy, utilize this key, as we have said, to truly unlock reality in a new and profound way that allows space and time to become very, very, very nebulous, very malleable, very plastic, can be rearranged by what you might call intention and mental energy much more easily when you utilize this core key vibration. Getting in touch with this core key vibration, being able to perceive the skeletal framework of existence, the bones of God, simply involves deeper appreciation, deeper attention to these proportions, ratios, and relationships, mathematical constructs that exist throughout nature, that again have gone by many names. But in your own unique way, each of you as an individual can approach this idea and have your own unique relationship to this idea and interpret this idea in any way, shape, or form that suits you best. You can interpret it through vibration in song, through visual vibration artistically, through words, through actions, through construction, architecturally. Any number of ways can capture the resonance of this underlying template, and when it is so captured or represented or symbolized or manifested, it thus does vibrate in harmony with this core template by whatever form you choose to represent it, by whatever symbol you use. And in vibrating in harmonic resonance with this core template, with the skeleton of creation, all who then become exposed to that manifestational piece, no matter in what way they are exposed to it, no matter what senses are used to perceive it, they then can take upon themselves that core resonance and allow that core resonance to unfold within their imagination, within their mind's eye, within their intuition in such a manner as to allow them to find, through their own inspiration, what method of expression would best suit that individual in order to unfold their particular manifestation of this underlying structural template of the bones of God. So, explore this concept wholeheartedly. There are any number of different ways to do so, as we have said. Whatever resonates within you the strongest, be it any form of art, any form of creative expression whatsoever, and sometimes even what you would call logical construct. Allow yourself to feel and appreciate the beauty of this beautiful relationship concept that exists throughout all of physiological reality, that underlies every experience, every object, every person, place, and thing, every dimension, every concept that you can possibly have within the idea of your universal reality is all tied to this one template, the bones, the skeleton of the infinite, in that sense. And in a very real way, thus, you can understand that this framework, this tree of life, this Kabbalah, this Merkaba, this form, this geometric pattern, is, therefore, the most basic manifested representation in physical reality of the infinite. It is the seed itself that blossoms into every other thing that exists in your universal reality. So trace it all back See the commonality, see the connectedness in the templates and the patterns of all things, and you will see, like an X-ray with your senses, the skeletal framework of all that is. We thank you for allowing us to reflect this notion from this particular point of view, this day of your time. In return for the gift now that you are allowing us to experience of you, through this link, through this sharing, I ask, in what way may I and those of my civilization be of service to you?